The meeting of the Connetquot Board of Education will now reconvene. Ms. Kennedy, would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence?
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mrs. Orlovitz?
Present.
Mr. Amorando?
Present.
Mr. Ferrioli?
Here.
Mr. Fasciano is absent. Mrs. Kennedy? Present. Mrs. Adams? Present. Mr. Nucci?
Present.
Mrs. Donnelly? Present. Mrs. Manzi? Present. Mr. Middleman?
Present.
Mrs. Hutchinson? Present. Mr. Budnick?
Present.
Ms. Hughes? Present. And Ms. McGinnis? Present. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Call for a motion to suspend the business meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, convene the committee meeting. Motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You're up, Sharon.
Please. I have my response here for the controller's report. They made 6 recommendations, and we are required to respond in writing to the controller's report within 90 days from when it was accepted by the board. So I have addressed each recommendation with a plan to remedy the finding and identifying the responsible parties as is required. So as you all will recall, our report included findings related to having what the controller deems to be fund balance that's excessive, appropriating reserves, yet being able to refund them at year end. So there's a corrective action plan to address those issues. Although many would argue that it's quite responsible to maintain reserves for as long as you can, and to appropriate fund balance responsibly.
Which one of those six?
Well, I was just thinking of this.
I said otherwise you wind up like Satan.
So I need for the board to accept that plan.
Aye.
Motion.
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 Motion. Second. Second. I told you motion, so I said, sorry.
So which one of
All in favor?
Motion, I said.
Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Calling for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, we're reconvene the business meeting. Motion.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to the approval of the minutes. Okay, we're doing the approval of the minutes for October 27th, 2015.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of November 4th, 2015 special meeting.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's what I was looking for. All right, we're going to do the recognition of the teachers, and as a board, we put together something that we all, I think, agree on sharing our feelings, our mutual on this. The Board of Education would like to recognize the teachers of the Connetquot Central School District for their contributions to the Connetquot community. For 3 consecutive years, the Connetquot teachers have won the NYSET Award for outstanding service to not only the Connetquot community, but to organizations within New York State. The Connetquot teachers' endeavors include the NAR Limit 2, Habitat for Humanity, the Cohalan Children's Center, the Bohemian Historical Society, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Rotary Club, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Ride for Life, and have contributed significantly to scholarships for our students. Our education system rests on beliefs, values, and traditions that are consistent with fostering a positive learning environment for students. Despite the many challenges that educators are facing, we are fortunate that each of you have decided to devote your passion, interests, and talents to our students and community. The reason you went into education is to make a difference in the lives of children and to convey a love of learning. You have chosen to spend each and every day helping our students better understand themselves and the world around them. This work is greatly appreciated. Beyond curriculum, technology, and community partnerships, teachers are the single most important contributors to student learning. You are the spark that ignites our students' minds and hearts. We wholeheartedly believe that the passion our students have for learning is clearly evident as you walk our hallways. This is because of you. The enthusiasm our teachers and students embody produce conversations and activities that truly demonstrate a love for learning and a willingness to move forward in education. Our students' progress stems directly from the diverse learning environments our teachers have created. This exemplifies the commitment that every one of you has to the educational process, and more importantly to our students as individual learners and human beings. We look forward to a year filled with learning, student growth, achievement, and positive experiences that lend themselves to not only academic achievement, but to a student's emotional and social growth as well. We offer thanks to each of you for all that you have done for our students and our community, and look forward to walking alongside you as we continue our journey towards excellence.
Teachers, board, teachers here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to kiss my cheek. Thank you.
Everybody stay up here and take a picture together.
Shake. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody.
Thank you for coming. I think Mr. Joe would like to take a picture of you guys.
Joey wants to stand right here.
I'm all right there.
I would.
Squeeze it. You can stand it.
I
All the big guys in the back.
Yeah. We'll be on a American Horror Story.
Like in the middle of nowhere here.
He's a really good director, but he keeps
Okay, we stitch. Are you ready? Okay, let's stitch. Let's see if this works. Smile. How about we smile this time?
Oh, boy.
Nice one. Nice. Okay, good. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. On behalf of coming down.
Thank you. On behalf of the Connetquot Teachers Association, I just want to say thank you for this award. Thank you for the recognition. It's certainly appreciated. Thank you to all the teachers that came tonight. I have to thank Lisa Manzo and Joanna McManaman, who are not here this evening, but they run our public relations and our membership drive. They are the liaisons with the community. They get the information of the needs that are out there. They bring it to myself or to other members of the board, and then as a board of directors, I make recommendations. They support it, they approve it. I have some great news just today at our board of directors meeting. I think it's so relevant for tonight in regards to CFAC. We are donating $2,500 to the CFAC dinner gala in March. We told Gail Colden they have our 100% support. I know this will sell a few extra tickets by me modeling that night, so but again, because of the board, because of our support for the community, and giving back, and we know that comes back to the students, it comes back to the teachers. The board today graciously has donated $2,500 to
That's great, thank you.
Please spread the word.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
You know, obviously, the most important thing, at least I feel, is the everyday interaction with children and their teachers. Being a teacher as well is the most important thing that you can see, is that face in the classroom when a kid comes in. So I know that all of you do that for our children every day. You do it for my children, you do it for everybody's children here that's gone through the system, and all the countless other children. And that is the most important thing that anybody can do. So no matter what you might get criticized for being a teacher, believe me, I know I'm in your boat. I don't want to use the cliche, you're more than a score, because it's a joke. You are way more than anything it means to this district, these children. It's really, really important. So make sure you feel that way, you know that. We support you. You know that you guys are out there doing a lot and 100%. And really keep up the passion, keep up the good work, because you guys are great.
Thank you. Okay, so I believe Mr. Middleman, are you up? Oh, I'm sorry, girls. Where are you? There you are, ladies. How do I miss those pretty faces? I know, I kind of thought you're part of the, the adult panel here. Okay, ladies, you're up.
The sub-students were sent to a leadership conference last Wednesday called Compassion Without Borders. We had an amazing speaker while there. His name was Ed Garrity, and we're trying to get him to come up to the high school to speak, because he's really influential in the words he used, and I think that it would touch a lot of the hearts at the high school. The food drive is still continuing. We're collecting cans for the community, and it started last Monday. And also freshman awareness. There was an assembly yesterday for the freshmen. It's going to be the 20th and the 21st. There'll be trainings both this week and next week for all those participating.
And then Habitat for Humanity is holding a badminton tournament. This year is their first year doing it, but they plan to continue it annually. And it's going to be this Thursday, November 12th. And then the class of 2017 is holding a ring dance, Blacklight Night. It's the same thing we did in our sophomore year.
So tell me, what is a ring dance? Because I heard that term the other day for the first time.
Yeah, it's when they order their class ring, we have a dance for them to go get their ring. And if you don't get a ring, you pay, I think it's $5, or at the door $7. And then they go and it's blacklight, and they have like face paint and different activities. It's really fun.
Oh, that's very cool.
And that's on November 17th. And then we're having a character breakfast for all the younger kids, similar to Safe Halloween. This is the first year we're doing that too. And we plan to continue that as long as it goes well. And we think it will, as like Safe Halloween is. And that is Saturday, December 19th.
Wow, great.
The badminton tournament, who can be involved in it?
Everyone, there's sign-up sheets.
There's no female team, Craig.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be fair.
Students, what time is it?
It's at 7 o'clock on Thursday.
7 p.m. Thursday night in the Connetquot Gymnasium.
And who is that open to? Like just the high school students or the whole district?
It's just the high school students. It's a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity.
You know that is going to conflict with the girls' varsity.
No, that's at Suffolk. The volleyball?
But it's the same night.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
wondering if
They
you-
didn't realize that. I was kind of sad about it because I'm going to the volleyball game. But
That's a shame.
I
'Cause
know.
I'd like to see more kids at both. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
They organized it a while ago and they didn't know when the game would be because
Right, of
you
course.
can't predict it.
That's really tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, now Dean, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys can.
Oh, ladies, would you like to go home or would you like to stick around?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
We weren't throwing you out, we're just giving you that option that, you know.
You're up.
So by regulation, we're required to present data on the school report card. And each year, districts across New York State present their ELA data, their math data 3 through 8, as well as their science 4th grade assessment and 8th grade assessment, as well as some of the Regents and AP results. Tonight, I'll present the district report card in a global sense from a 3 through 8 perspective. The goal is not to identify individual schools. There are many factors that came into play over the past number of years that affected some of the results. Bob, I think your head's in the way. Sorry. In order to find the results as a community member or a teacher, they are listed at data.nysed.gov. There's a whole drop down. You can find out any districts, their results, how they performed in comparison to themselves over the past 2 years. In grades 3 through 8, the first bar is the 2013 school year, the second bar is the 2014 school year. That is our results. The next two are the statewide results for both the same years. The levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 is considered proficient. 4 is considered mastery. Combining levels 3 and 4 is our passing rates. Our results, I don't believe are reflective of the instruction that goes on in the classroom. Our results, I don't believe, are reflective of the learning that takes place on behalf of the students. So there are a lot of factors. Obviously, student participation is one factor that goes into this. The rollout of the new standards is another factor that played into this. In addition to that, the final thing is that the state has a tendency to change some of the scoring methodologies that they use. And that obviously impacts the number of students that perform at a certain level. Specifically, in 2013, we did have a significant change in the cut scores, which is what the state deemed to be a level 2, a level 3, a level 4. In math, you'll see that we did perform a little bit better. You'll notice that in students who performed on a level 1 and 2 decreased, which is our ultimate goal, is to have students who are having difficulty move from those levels up to higher levels. And you'll notice that our proficiency rates did increase as well. Science, we typically do very well in the 4th grade science as well as the 8th grade science. Again, the light blue is the 2014 results, the dark blue is the 2013 results, and you'll notice that there is some changes in how we perform. And again, overall across the district, you look at our mastery rates compared to both the and ourselves continually to improve. 8th grade science is the same. One of the challenges, one of the differences with the 8th grade assessment is that those students who are in 8th grade who take earth science do not sit for the 8th grade assessment. So it is a smaller population of our students. But again, our rates continually perform at high levels. The final slide here is our graduation rates. And this is one of the areas that we're continuing to look at with our new high school administration. Our graduation rates are roughly about 92%. We want to see if we continually increase that. One of the things that we are proud about is if you look at the last column, we did have a decrease in our dropout rate, which is something that's significant for the district. It's something that we continually look at, as well as those students who are still enrolled. Those students are still fulfilling those requirements that they need in order to graduate. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Losing, who is our chairperson for Science and Mathematics, Brian Frank, who is our Director of Social Studies, and Christina Poppy, who is our Director of ELA. They are going to give you a comparison of our Regents rates for the past couple of years, as well as a comparison of the AP scores for the students in those districts, in those courses.
So Dean, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Regarding the 8th grade science, this is not reflective of those children that do take the Regents. So if you take the Regents, you don't take the state.
Correct. And last year for this, which we didn't, it wasn't presented on these slides because it was 2 years ago, their data, but last year for Math 8, those students who were in algebra did not have to sit for the Math 8 assessment. Before I switch over their slides, the state is working to remedy some of the challenges that they did face. They are having public comments, both for parents and for educators, regarding the implementation of the Common Core and the standards. They also are releasing more and more test items each year, which is similar to when we first started with the assessments. We had a lot of information to gauge how our assessment was taking place, what areas our students were having difficulty in, and that over the number of years since the rollout of the Common Core has happened, they've sequestered more of those questions. So we haven't been able to see where our students are performing just on a global basis. Those test items are starting to be released again, which is a positive sign that we can start using it for instructional purposes.
Are we going to use it for instructional purposes if it's not deemed to be developmentally appropriate? I mean, that's something we need to consider.
As of right now,
I mean, 70% of this test is being failed in New York State. To me, that's nothing that's developmentally appropriate. And I'm not comfortable, I don't know how everybody else is, but I'm not comfortable with using this data to place children on a test where 70% is designed for these children to fail. I think that's an issue we need to look at, how we analyze that, how we look at it.
So when we look at and monitor our student progress, we use a lot of different factors.
Right.
The state assessment is not the only factor that we use.
Well, I think that's very important that everybody understands that.
Yeah, so we have multiple measures, classroom observation, teacher feedback. We do a lot of diagnostic data assessment within the elementary schools to gather data about student progress and monitor student performance. So it is not the sole source, but it is a piece of the puzzle that we do look at. They are standards that we are charged at this point to implement, and that's the process we're moving forward with.
Yeah, I just think it's important that everybody knows that we use a variety of tasks, not solely that information to be evaluating our children.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, how are you? I'm Christina Poppy, for those of you who I have not yet met. Hello, good evening. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the historical results for the Connetquot School District from 13, 14, and actually we have results as recent as 2015 in terms of student performance on the Comprehensive English Regents exam. So the first slide here is just sort of an indication that we are holding steady in terms of our overall passing rate on this exam. 94, 95%, 94% of our students in 2015 passed the exam, which is a strong and competitive passing rate. And you'll see the comparison to our local school districts in the next slide. So you'll see that we are holding our own in terms of being competitive in our results on the English Regents exam. You can see some of our neighboring districts like Sachem, Sayville, Bayport, Blue Point have percentile passing rates that are similar to our own. On the end, you can see the overall passing rate for students in Suffolk County, which measures out to 91%. So that's a composite of about 18,000 students, let's say 18,000 students. In terms of our percent mastery, now when we talk about mastery in the Regents exam, we're talking about a score of 85% or better. And we have a bit of a decline here in our most recent history. So you can see that the 15 results yielded a 35% mastery rate. I'm currently, and being that I started in this position in September, looking into the reasons as to why we've seen this slide and this decline, and you can see our performance compared to neighboring districts. We have room to grow, and we have room for improvement. All right, but that is part of what I am tasked with initially in this role, is kind of looking not only at our results, because that's only part of the picture, but taking a look at instructional practices, getting to know the teachers who are involved, getting to know the students who are involved, and kind of moving forward from there. Our AP results have been fairly consistent. The AP language course is our 11th grade AP course, and those results are on the left. You can see that we're averaging around a scale score of 3 on a basis of a 1 through 5 scoring ability for students. And then in the AP Literature and Composition course, which is the graph on the right, that's our 12th grade course, and again, our scores have settled around a 3 in the past 3 years.
Do you see that as something you are looking at to
Yeah, we'll kind of talk a little.
analyze? Or?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about some of. At the end of each of them, they'll talk a little bit about some of the goals that they have for their departments.
Is our neighboring districts doing about that as well?
You know, unfortunately, we're not able to compare those very specific scores between districts. That's information that the College Board holds. So it's not public knowledge like our state report card, and it's not included in the state report card. All right, so we can only really compare Connetquot to Connetquot, you know, over a 3-year or, you know, historically longer time period if we chose to do so. We are looking to, of course, increase the number of exams that are written, which is always a thrust in terms of any AP course. You're looking for students to sit for the exam and to take it, being that they have completed the AP course, they've completed the instructional portion, and that exam factors in at the end of the course. So we're always looking to increase our student seat and our exams written for each of these courses and any AP course that we offer in the school. Okay, then move on to that last.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Does Connetquot currently pay for the AP exams for the students? No. We did at one time. I just wondered. Okay.
So in terms of some of the things that I'm involved in this role as director of ELA, is looking at, and I mentioned, I'm going to go back to the idea of mastery, looking at those trends, those historical trends that we have on record at this point, and seeing why things occur. Part of that is looking closely at our curriculum. I've set up curricular articulation sessions for the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade teachers at this point. We're looking to identify our progression toward the Regents exam. Not looking at the Regents exam in 11th grade as the end-all and be-all of our instruction, but as an informant for our instruction. That's what the exam is meant to do. And in order to do that, it's great to be able to be reflective from 11th grade when students take that exam, and to cycle back into 10th and to 9th grade. Which is the genesis of their high school career in ELA. For ELA, there is only the Singleton Regents exam. We're not sort of condensed like the other subject areas. So there is no exit exam at the end of 9th grade, 10th grade. And it's a continual sort of gradual build-up to the 11th grade experience. The exam this year is going to be based upon those Common Core state standards. And all of our juniors are going to be taking a new exam in June. So the difficult part in this is not that they haven't had appropriate instruction up to this point in Common Core-based learning strategies, but it's that I won't be able to make direct comparisons like the ones that we just did. So the historical piece kind of slides away in terms of student performance in this June, and that's frustrating, you know, because part of our conversations, again, depends upon this type of data that I just presented to you.
When did our juniors start getting the training at the high school level?
All of the students who will be taking the Common Core Regents exam in June have been Common Core, their instruction has been Common Core aligned in ELA since they were 9th graders, since they were freshmen. And I'm sure, and this predates me, so I can't necessarily speak to this with certainty, but I'm sure that that preparation started well before this class's entrance into high school, that alignment to the standards had been taking place prior to their entrance into high school.
So if you're a junior this year, it's almost like you're like anything.
In a way, it is. The exam has been given now for 2 years. Most districts on Long Island have elected to hold off from their large-scale testing in alignment with this exam until this year. The state has offered it. It has not been an initiative in many districts to test more than smaller populations. The districts that have tested large populations have said that the results were more normed and more normal than they expected. So that's encouraging. A larger district, for example, like Hollow Hills, that has gone ahead and had their students take the exam on a large scale, have expressed that the results are not sort of wacky and irregular compared to what the expectation would have been. And a lot of that has to do with the adjustments that take place in those conversion charts for each Regents exam. That still exists for this exam. So it's not a direct correlation. You know, if you score X number of multiple choice questions correct and you have an X score on an extended written response, you're automatically going to earn score Y. It's a conversion that depends upon the exam that's being given. It fluctuates for every exam. The in-house PD is something that we will continue. We're also looking to send teachers to local BOCES professional development programs as just to kind of substantiate their experiences and listen to the experiences of teachers in other school districts as well and bring the information back to their colleagues during departmental meetings. But internally, again, I started talking about our curricular decisions at the 11th grade and moved into 10th and 9th grade. We're now looking at our mid-year, midterm examinations and norming them to the Regents exam, which is an important step as well. We're planning on having most of the 11th grade population look at a mid-year exam that is very similar to the Regents exam, so that the teachers can have an idea of where their students are performing in January and what instructional decisions they may need to make moving forward into the spring semester.
So one of the themes that you'll notice that throughout each of the three presentations is, which is something that I know the board has asked for, is the professional development component. We did make a significant shift this year in allowing teachers to go to outside conferences. We have had teachers who, multiple teachers go out for outside conferences and then come back and share that information with their colleagues. In addition to that, we've embedded a lot of professional development in our department meetings, which is something that has been a shift for us, and we're very excited about that. Our chair people and directors are able to give that kind of support to their teachers during the school day.
I ask the traditional questions. When our kids write a paper when they leave, will they be able to write papers better than they have in the past?
Yes, I believe so. The focus right now in terms of writing in the high school, is centered around argument primarily, students' ability to develop a claim, or what we know traditionally as a thesis statement, and to defend that claim or thesis statement with evidence, text-based evidence, from the sources that they're citing in order to defend their argument or to convince their audience, persuade their audience to, believe their perspective. That is a shift.
And over the past 2 years, we've done work with our 6th and 7th grade teachers, embedding a writing component, the writing process, into their instructional practice. The focus this year is definitely on the elementary schools and enhancing that literacy component at that level.
So at all levels, the focus has kind of been strategically narrowed to address the writing process, the importance of the writing process, the importance of the steps of the writing process in order to develop a final product. We talk a lot about the importance of that process over the final piece. We look at that final piece as the sum and culmination of all of the work and effort and steps that have gone into the writing process up to that point. So,
I was going to ask this question. How are the 20 teachers receiving?
Can you put your microphone on, Lee?
How are they receiving it as a...
Are they enjoying it? They like going out? Are they
I
sharing?
think they're loving it to the point where there are a couple of special ELA teachers that I, had to say, all right, you're taking all the money for the district, but they are eating it up.
they're
And I think,
enthusiastic.
yeah,
Yes.
it's really exciting to see their enthusiasm. I actually went with a couple of ELA teachers to a technology conference, and they're at lunch, they're running out to me, all right, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. So the level of excitement and professionalism with the staff and the sharing is, it's really exciting. So, thank you.
Thank you. Very much.
All right, no one clapped after I.
You brought it up, Dean.
I didn't even know you were finished, Dean. I thought you were coming back to...
I am, so you're right. Hold on. My mistake. Thanks.
All right, good evening. I'm Mary Losing, and I'm going to present about our math and our science results. What you will see here are a historical perspective from Connetquot of our Regents exams. And one of the things that sticks out, I hope, is that we are in the transition from integrated algebra to Common Core and our traditional geometry class to geometry Common Core. You'll note that in 2015 our results look like they are quite low, but you need to understand that that was the last administration of the integrated algebra exam. So the students that took it were not students that were taking algebra for the first time. They were students that were repeating the exam, or our special needs students that were in the second of the 2-year algebra course. And for many of those students, scoring a 55 satisfied their diploma requirements, so that while they didn't receive the 65 passing grade, they may well have achieved the results they needed to achieve. And then you can see that and you will see in the following slides in the comparisons, that our scores on the other exams are comparable to our neighboring districts. And you can see that we had a dip in our Algebra 2 scores in 2015. That was true of every district in the state in that particular exam. What you see here are our percent mastery. And again, one of the things you will notice here in Common Core, the percent mastery is very low. You're going to see that in the comparisons to the neighboring districts as well. And that has a lot to do with the scale that the state is using for this particular exam. They are compressing the results, and so many, many students are scoring in the 70s, regardless of whether they're accelerated or struggling kids. Their scores in the end are very similar, which accounts for those very low mastery rates. This is our comparative passing rates from all of our neighboring districts, and you'll see with reference to Common Core, with geometry, Common Core, and algebra, we are competitive with our neighboring districts. And you'll see again that we are, for the most part, with the exception of our integrated algebra, which is gone as of this past August, we are doing better than Suffolk County in general. And this shows you our mastery rates. Again, you can see in every district with integrated algebra going out that the mastery was low. And as I mentioned before, you can see in every district that the Common Core mastery rates were low because of that compression of the scale that the state is providing. And these are our AP scores. We offer 4 different AP courses for mathematics. We have AP Calculus AB, the BC course. We offer AP Computer Science as well as AP Statistics. So we offer a rich offering of possibilities for our students in those different AP courses. And the kinds of things that we've been doing for mathematics, we've spent summertime curriculum writing for our Algebra 2, because this year Algebra 2 is the course that is Common Core. So we began our curriculum writing. We began professional development for Algebra 2 during the 2014-15 school year, and then we spent concentrated time in the summer doing curriculum development, and we've continued that in the fall. We've had professional development by people outside of Connetquot, as well as sending some of our teachers off to some BOCES professional development offerings, and we've also given our teachers the opportunity to collaborate together and work together to develop the curriculum, and they've really appreciated those opportunities. And then our other goal is to create additional course offerings for our juniors and seniors, because we feel it's very important for students that are going to college to have 4 years of math. It really is not to any student's benefit to send them off to college if they've stopped math after their junior year. Math is one of those things that is going to determine whether or not you are going to graduate from college. You really have to have that math background, and you have to maintain those skills. Then next I will present our science results. And here you can see our historical passing rates for our earth science, living environment, chemistry, and physics regions. And you can see that our students are doing very well in all those regions, holding steady in every one of them 90 and above for 2015. And here you can see our mastery rates, and we are again holding steady with our mastery rates in earth science. Went up a little bit in living environment, and holding with about 20% in chemistry, and in the 40% in physics. So I think we're doing very well there. And this shows you our comparative percent passing to all of our neighboring districts, and you can see that we are in the top 2 among this comparison in all of those different regions exams throughout Suffolk County, throughout the comparison that we're doing here. And this shows you our mastery rates. So again, we are competitive with all of our neighboring districts.
Just a curiosity, is the chemistry always been, looks like to me, I mean, just looking at these, they will, obviously something comparatively, but some of these chemistry looks a little bit on the lower side.
Well, that's
Additionally,
because
then on the lower side, even the mastery level looks to be lower than the Suffolk County number and all the rest of the districts surrounding us?
What happens with chemistry is that it is the only one of the four with a negative scale. And so that depresses us because although there should be 15 scores between 85 and 100, there are, I think, 10 or 11. So you have lowered your students' chances of being able to achieve mastery just by the scores that the state allows them to achieve.
You know, I understand why, although I was just wondering why, you know, the reason why we might be a little bit lower than the surrounding districts, and to me, it's a little, I don't say alarming, it's not alarming. Concerning that. I understand what you're saying, my wife teaches chemistry, so I understand what you're saying regarding the scale, that's why traditionally they're all down. The question is, do we have any knowledge of why we might be performing slightly lower than what looks like all the districts around us have also Suffolk County? Or is that something we can investigate?
We certainly can look into it, but I think that we try to retain and keep as many students as we can in the course. And as long as you are keeping a larger population in the course, your mastery rates are going to be slightly lower than if you are going out of your way to suggest some alternatives to some of those students.
So we have a large population that does take chemistry. We're very fortunate in that. Our teachers do an amazing job working with them. We're consistently looking at our student performance data to see what areas we can improve on. And that's something that we'll continue to do over this year and into next year. One of the things that we've talked about as we look to increase the number of students in our honors program or our AP classes is, you know, once you start to increase the population, there'll be a bit of a dip in the performance. So it's something that we're looking at with our high school administration as well as our curriculum leaders to kind of map backwards to see how better we can prepare students beginning in 9th grade for those honors and AP courses, and we believe that over time we'll be able to do that.
These students, they have a double every other day?
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, that's pretty, you know, you get a single and you get a double, so I mean, just having that extra period, so it could either be 2 or 3 periods for the week, so that's not enough to help the children.
Put your microphone on? Could you put your microphone on?
The mastery rate, which is only really a matter of increasing, I think maybe even outside the testing itself, is increasing children's interest in, you know, in general, just to bring that extra
I think our teachers do an incredible job. They work very hard to make the course interesting, make the course relevant, and as I said, to try to retain as many students as they possibly can in the course.
No, I'm just talking about the teachers, I just meant in general trying, as a district, trying to possibly find a way to, you know, I don't know, increase that level for so all of our kids are.
Well, I think overall, that's an excellent point. You know, we are looking at mastery rates. You'll notice one of the themes, and I'm going to cut Brian off a little bit before he starts this. I won't talk about it yet, I'll wait. Then I'll get into this. I will address that.
We offer AP courses in biology, chemistry, and physics. What you notice here is that AP Physics B is no longer and was replaced by AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2. The other thing that we did here was to eliminate our honors physics and move those students into AP Physics 1. AP Physics 1, this was the first year of its administration. Our students performed better than most of the students in the country that took the test. The average on the test was a 2. And we had one of the rare students in the country that got a 5 on this exam. The other exams, we're doing well on the biology and the chemistry, and trying to maintain the students' interest in those courses, because those are the courses that students really need to be in, the biology, the chemistry, and the physics, if they intend on any kind of pre-professional career or any kind of a STEM career.
Can I ask a question about this? I just,
Yes, Gail.
nobody's shaking their head, no,
Yes,
so I'm
Gail.
gonna
Yes,
go ahead and
Gail.
ask.
Yes.
I just wondered how come over the years, I mean, going back at least 10 years, when I sat on the high school site-based team, there was a lot of requests from students who sat on the site-based team with us to have an offering of AP Earth Science, because our kids do master the Earth Science, and there's nothing to go beyond the
Well, it's an easy answer in that there is no AP Earth Science.
right.
There is no such course. The AP board doesn't offer it. We have had on our course offerings AP Environmental Science for a number of years, and we've never gotten enough student interest to offer the course. In terms of our advanced, we have 2 electives. We have 1 elective currently in astronomy to continue an earth science perspective, and we're hoping to add an advanced astronomy elective for next year.
Is it possible?
Turn your microphone on,
Please.
please. I said please before. She didn't hear me.
Is it possible when the kids, maybe say 2 months before Regents comes, and maybe organizing like a Saturday cram course? Because I'm very concerned about the trig and even geometry. I mean, can we offer that to our students?
I'm gonna answer that. So we do offer courses to prepare students for the Regents. We do that generally in the spring. We do that for as many as we possibly can. I did have a conversation with some members of the math department. We're meeting next week. They have come up with a really creative solution that they think would benefit not just their department, but the other departments as well. So I'm meeting with them, and I'll report back to the board on that meeting. They have it's a pretty, I think, creative way to provide support for students who may need it without targeting and identifying and trying to course.
Okay, good. Looking forward to that.
That's Chris giving.
In terms of what we're experiencing in science, currently under development are new New York State standards for science that will largely be based on the next generation science standards. I've had the opportunity to be involved in this process for the last 4 or 5 years, and we're hoping finally during 2016 the Board of Regents will approve these standards and let us get moving on this. I think teachers are excited to move forward with something different. And toward that end, we're going to be doing some professional development this spring to break down the NGSS, to understand what it is, the different type of teaching that is going to be required under NGSS, and then starting in the summer working on curriculum writing, preparing a unit for each of the different disciplines so that we can slowly begin rolling this out before this, to anticipate what the state is doing so that we'll be ahead of the game.
So Mary's being very modest. She does sit on the committee for this. And that kind of expertise in our district is provided, with us with a kind of a head start above everybody else. So we're really excited about that, and I thank Mary for her leadership in the state of so.
My name is Brian Frank, Director of Social Studies and Business, and I'll just give you a brief background on what's going on in social studies. Okay, so from 2013 to 2015, our passing rate has been, 97, 95, 97%, which is fantastic. It's certainly something to be proud of. Global history, 89% for 2015. Just to give you a little bit of a background why global history in every district will always be a little bit lower than for U.S. history. Global is a 2-year course of study, and it tends to be a little bit more challenging and difficult for students as they're taking the courses to actually put 2 years worth of work into one particular Regents test. Also, it's certainly not U.S. history, in which they were raised in U.S. history and they have more of a background knowledge in it. Just so you understand, as of 2018, the global history Regents is changing dramatically. And in fact, with the adoption of the new social studies framework, 2018 will be the new Regents for social study, for global history, and then for U.S. history in 2019. And they're basing the style more on what you would see in an AP World test. Not difficulty level of an AP World test, but the style. And you were mentioning about the ability to do argumentative essays, to actually more writing, and that's where the focus has been pushed. Inquiry-based, and to really get the students to write more, understand more, and be able to develop their ideas and concepts. Okay, mastery level. 2013, 80%, we had a little bit of dip, we're starting to go back up again. Global history, slowly rising. This has been a topic that I have been wanting to focus on, why we're seeing shifts in the mastery rate, and work with the department to look at those issues, and it's something that is a focus of mine for this particular year. Passing rate is great. I would like to see a heavier focus on the mastery rate. Okay, surrounding districts, if you'll see, we're certainly competitive with the surrounding districts, U.S. history regions, global history regions going all the way down, and we're certainly above the norm with Suffolk County, and we continue to stay in that general area. Mastery rate, again, when you're doing the comparisons, we're doing well, we are competitive. There will be an area that will continue looking at professional development and trying to increase that particular area. Currently, we have 6 AP courses, and that's what I want to spend a little bit of time on, please. Social studies has, fortunately for us, we can offer the most advanced placement courses in a high school. So currently we have 6, AP US, AP European, AP, that's actually macroeconomics, that's AP Government, US Government Politics, AP Psychology, and AP World. There are other AP courses out there, and certainly there's something that I'm looking at, for example, microeconomics. We have human geography, and 1 or 2 others that we could see if something we can implement into the curriculum later on. But our scores have been fairly consistent, and several of them you're seeing that they're actually rising up. My belief is that a student should not leave the high school without taking a college level course. They should have that experience, they should have that rigor, they should be something that, you know, if they can get it in social studies, great. If they can get it in business, where they have a lot of college level courses, also in other areas, fantastic. But that is something that I can continue to pursue, push, and develop. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the new social studies framework. As of this year, they adopted a new framework, and it was adopted in a staggered way. So for example, K through 8 the new framework is now in place, and they should be following the new framework. 9 through 12 is going step by step. So for example, in 2016, the 9th grade teachers and so on, 10th grade should start using the new framework. But here's where it gets a little odd. They would like the new curriculum to be followed in K through 8, but in 9 through 12, they still want you to use the older curriculum, but introduce the new inquiry method into instruction. It's all right, we're taking care of it, and we're doing it. And that's part of the professional development program that we're following. The framework itself there's not a dramatic change in the curriculum, but there are some significant changes, and I've been focusing on going down to the elementary school and the middle school to look at those changes and to make sure that we're following the changes that are taking place, and also having them start the inquiry method, the process of doing the new style of writing, argumentative writing, evidence-based, text-based, moving forward that way. Also, what we've had is, I've lost count of how many people have gone to BOCES for professional development training, quite a few. Also, we're having SG Grant come in as of, I think it's next week or the week after, 3 times to really train up teachers on the inquiry method. Now, who was SG Grant? He's the one that actually created the social studies toolkit for the state. He's going to come in, we're going to work together, and we're going to introduce it and actually help out teachers in the methodology of doing the question. Professional development is, I think, one of the biggest focuses that we have this year, and the teachers are enthusiastic about it. They're going to the Eastern Suffolk BOCES, they're going to other programs, and certainly when I go in and present certain material to them with the new framework, they're very enthusiastic about it and implementing it into their work.
So we've been working on the framework in the elementary schools for the past 2 years. This is the second year that we'll be implementing the framework. And the teachers have not only worked with Eileen Abraham, who is our humanities chairperson at the elementary level, but they have been provided some outside professional development by some leaders in the field. One of the things that I think is amazing that Brian was able to bring in was the actual author of the framework, the inquiry method. So we're not hearing it from someone else. We're hearing it from the creator. We're hearing it from someone, and I think it's a great opportunity for our staff to be able to experience that at a professional level. To hear from someone who is creating the work for them, but also to be able to ask questions and have that dialogue, that professional dialogue that exists. It's going to be a really meaningful experience, and I'm looking forward to it.
And we're all, what's nice about it is that we're staggering. So for example, the first introduction will be K through 2, teaching available to the training. Then it'll be 3 through 5, available to the training. Then 9 through 12, available to the training. So as the new framework continues to get implemented, it's one of the major focuses we have to make sure that it's done consistently, and that we provide the support necessary so the teachers feel that they can be successful. And the inquiry we talk about with ELA, there isn't that much difference to writing style. They use the word claim, we use the word thesis. For whatever reason, it's the same concept, and it's all connected together. ELA, social studies, and trying to really push the concept of writing and really
So one of the things that we've done from an administrative standpoint is that when we're having conversations about ELA and what we're doing K through 12, Brian's involved. When we're talking about what we're doing in social studies K through 12, Christina has been involved. And it's really important because that dialogue across disciplines and that articulation across disciplines, we talk about the importance of the articulation vertically between grade levels, but between disciplines is probably more impactful and more meaningful as we develop our professional development plan and talk about some of the curricular changes that we're going to make as we move forward. So it's exciting to have everybody involved in the process. Thank you, Brian. There are two. Oh, you do? Go ahead.
I don't know the best answer to this, but within the new framework, do we have plans to provide teachers with new materials that fit the framework?
Yes.
Moving forward?
In fact, we've already, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We've already adopted Putnam County BOCES social studies program, social studies ELA program, which is providing support. But we've also talked about a summer program to develop material to put together for the teachers from the K through 5 area, along with workbooks and other materials, so they'll actually have the materials we use.
So we're looking at creating materials or purchasing?
I would prefer that we actually sit down and create the materials from the resources we have already, HSE, Putnam County BOCES, and other areas, and also material that they've used, that they're happy with. The one fortunate thing about the social studies framework is that unlike some of the other programs that the state has implemented, they have left it very open. And they've allowed, and they've understand, I don't know if they've learned their lesson, but they've learned that we need to let the local districts develop their curriculum. These are the general areas we want you to discuss, but it's up to you to decide in detail how to do it. And this is coming right from the state ed person for social studies. I talked with her actually last week. And so we've been given a significant amount of latitude, and it works for us in our district.
Is that how our teachers feel? That they would prefer to create their own materials as well? Or do they prefer to look at materials that are also available and then
I have received a combination of both. I think what we're seeing, especially at the elementary level, is that many of the teachers that come to me that I've talked to said, you know, if you had a binder of material in it that I could use right away, a workbook, something that is solid, that you can produce for me. You know, the BOCES program is fine, it's a software program, it's up there, they can pull material down, but if they had something, plus we create a shared drive, which we can put material up, they can pull it out, use it, and we can start using it district-wide. So
So some of the concerns, and not to cut you off, is that just anytime there's a new implementation of something, textbook companies are quick to put a sticker on it and say that this is a line. And we want to be, financially responsible and make sure that we're making the best choices. We have purchased a lot of materials for our teachers. It is something that we will continue to dialogue with them about because, one of the things that we have put an emphasis on is gaining that feedback from our instructional staff. That we are working with them to identify what's working, what's not working, and how we can continue to support them in the classroom.
And even talking about textbooks, if there's any even talking about textbook, even at the elementary level or something like that. My philosophy has always been, we get the samples, we give them to the teachers. They decide what works for them. We don't dictate to them, and then they tell us, yes, feedback-wise, this is how it works. And that's at every level, quite honestly. They're the instructors in the classroom. They know what works best. They know where a certain textbook may have a failing, doesn't fully cover a particular topic. And certainly if I'm not teaching that course, I can't dictate to them that we use this textbook instead of that textbook, with this resource instead of that resource. They should be the...
I hear all of your concerns and what Dean's saying about moving too quickly and things like that. I just have concerns that I've heard from many teachers myself and from parents and students that what we're doing with reproducing the Buckley curriculum and not having a child with some kind of organized material is stressors on the children. They're losing their materials, they don't have them in a place, they're putting them in a folder, they're not in a binder, they're here, they're there. Listen, the bottom line is we need to provide our children and help our children the best we can. So if these are concerns that our parents are having and our children are having, I think we need to just at least look at them and address them and discuss them with the teachers so that they can get the best materials that they can get to help their children. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree. I mean,
I can make
that's I think that's a great point that we continually look at. We're looking for feedback loops continually. We've created, I think, really strong feedback loops with our instructional staff. I think the next bridge that we need to make is with our parent population, is continue those feedback loops with them because they're partners in the process.
And I agree with you. My wife's a first grade teacher, so I understand where you're coming from and having material that you can take home. Your child has a workbook that they can open up that follows what's going on, but other material, I get it. And it has to be dictated by the parents and the teachers.
I think part of the fears right now with parents, with everything that's going on in this climate, is not having materials. They feel left out. They have no place to go to. They have no place to, listen, I happen to have the luxury of where I teach, I have books for every subject I teach. And are they the greatest? No, they're not. Some of them have been rushed into. But I think there's a lot more comfortability with the parents having some place to go and the children actually having something tangible that makes a difference. I'm not saying we should rush to purchase something. What I'm saying is that we should try to, move that process to
generate it in districts.
And that's fine too, as long as everybody's involved, all the stakeholders. I agree. As long as the teachers are involved, the stakeholders are all involved.
They're the ones they're the ones developing it.
That's what we need. We just gotta try and do it.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, so one of two of the things that I just want to wrap up with as we go forward. One of the themes in the common vocabulary we hear is that we're competitive. Okay? And we're competitive in a lot of different areas. And I think as we continue to look forward and continue to move our high school and our district forward, that's something that we're no longer satisfied with. That piece of being competitive with local districts. Our goal, and I know the goal of the administrative staff here, as well as the high school staff, building principals, our curriculum leaders, is to be the best high school that we could be in Suffolk County. I think foundationally we are in an excellent spot with a great instructional staff. We've revised a lot of our programs, and I think we're only going to grow from this point forward. One of the things that we're going to focus on a lot is mapping backwards. Mrs. Adams has a graduate profile committee that talks about what are the expectations for kids as they graduate. I think when we look at that piece, that's an important component. It's where we want our kids to be when they graduate. And in order to do that, we need to map our curriculum backwards to prepare our kids for the more rigorous coursework. The point of having every child sit for a college level course I think is really important. I think we offer a wide variety of different courses that allow kids who have different interests to still participate at that level, and I think that's what we need to continue to move forward. So I want to thank the three of them for their leadership and the work that they did tonight.
Dean, I just have a question for you, which I know that it was very productive last year, and I know that you would have liked a bigger turnout, but the parents that did attend were extremely grateful. Are you going to do some workshops this year?
Okay, so you're jumping my thing, I was going to talk about it next board meeting, but we're currently in the process of looking at 3 parent workshops. One is run by our administrative staff, another would be run by our teaching staff, and the third, we're not sure who's going to run yet, but one will be on study skills. The second will be continuation of our math workshops for parents, but this time we're going to ask our staff to see if they're interested in putting it together and working it. I've been working with our elementary math chairperson on that right now. I know she's going to be setting up a posting, and we're going to be posting that position soon. And then the final one, which I think is also very important, is a parent workshop around the parent board and how to use it, how to navigate it. And then kind of I have a question about this, and it's a how-to session. We'll do some basics, and then we'll allow parents to kind of guide the discussion of where we need to go. So it's something that we're in the process of putting together. I don't have anything solidified at this point, but that's really what I think.
So with the workshop regarding the study, is the children, actually the parents, are you going to be able to give them the tools, so, okay, obviously to learn better strategies to study, but also to learn better strategies to write comprehensive paper?
The goal of that workshop will be twofold. One, to discuss what we're currently doing at different grade levels so that they have a common language with us. The second is to provide them with the skills that they need in order to support their students at home. I think one of the things that we talked about is the feedback loops. We've created a really strong one with our instructional staff, but our feedback loop with our parents hasn't been great. And with the changes in some of the math curriculum, the changes in some of the writing, the language that we use as educators, the language that kids are using, it's really important that our parents have that same understanding of that language is. So we have to build their background knowledge as well. So part of that process will take place during the parent workshop.
So when you get the dates for these workshops, can you just blow it up, blow up on an email, blow up on the district?
Yeah, I expect everybody here.
Yeah, everybody has to attend.
Yeah.
This is probably focusing on the elementary level, though, like these workshops?
Workshops will focus primarily to see what the attendance looks like, we'll see what the demand looks like. Maybe we'll whet some people's appetites to do something with the middle school level. We'll open it up to, we'll do it similar to what we did in the math workshops in the past. We'll do it semi-grade specific.
As far as parents that attended your workshop, they love it.
Oh, great.
I have a question. The task force that's now going on, and we got that thing too.
Lee, could you please put your microphone on? Thank you.
The task force for the Common Core for the state. People are writing in right now, because we have gotten something to write things in. What's going to happen at the end of the year? Are they going to come out with something and a lot of this is going to be changed, or what do you see happen? I'm sure something's going to happen. Don't be so negative.
I'll reserve comments.
I wasn't being negative.
No, I was saying.
I was being negative.
There's 2 different things going on right now. There's Governor Cuomo's task force, and there's Commissioner Elia's task force. Commissioner Elia has requested that everybody look at the standards themselves and give feedback as to their developmental appropriateness, what people are really truly believing about the Common Core standards. That's what Commissioner Elia is doing under the direction of the Board of Regents. She's also looking at the tests themselves. She's beginning to put out, and I'm hoping it's kind of any day now, they're actually going to ask New York State teachers, finally, to give feedback on the test questions like they've been doing for Regents exams forever. There used to be an entire program called Final Eyes, EYES, where teachers from New York State, all over the state, would go up and they would actually look at the actual Regents questions that were going to be put on that year's Regents
give feedback, tweak them, make sure that there was correct answers to them before they actually went to print. That is also happening under the Board of Regents and Commissioner Elia. So we're expecting any day now for that to come out to ask for teachers' input and people who would like to go upstate and look at those kind of questions. Excuse me. However, anyone can go on Engage New York right now and put in comments to each one of the standards that you believe are not appropriate at the different grade levels. And I'm going to send that out district-wide to all of our parents with that actual link.
Yeah, it'll only take you about 3 weeks to go through that.
It's all the way through December, I believe, but that link should be out, and we will put that out in an email to all parents. It's already been out to the faculty. Commissioner Elia sent it to faculty, and then I sent it again to faculty.
So all of our teachers have that?
Correct.
Every teacher here is there.
Governor Cuomo is running a task force to look at the actual exam and the validity of the exams, and that's a completely separate task force. Do I think that the two task forces will eventually come together and speak? Not really. I'm not under the impression that they're going to do that. I'm hoping that State Education Department and Commissioner Elia and the Board of Regents will get significant feedback from the field and take a really hard look at whether the standards are appropriate or not, as well as the tests, which I've heard that they're going to decrease. They haven't come out with the exact numbers of how small they're going to make the exams, and then they're going to supposedly revamp them. I'll wait. I'm going to reserve judgment on whether or not anything is going to really make a significant change, but I'm hopeful, but I'm not extremely hopeful.
Did I hear this somewhere? I heard that the only thing they were going to remove was going to be embedded field questions.
No, they're still going to put embedded field questions in, but not as many as they
That's
used
how
to
they're
be.
going to shrink the tests. Better field questions than needed the rest of the tests. That was one of the things one of the proposals I possibly heard.
I heard that too, that they were going to decrease the amount of embedded field questions, but not eliminate them altogether. But they were looking at some of the extended constructive responses, but we haven't gotten a definitive yet. Okay, moving on to special election. Ms. Andrews.
Eastern Suffolk BOCES just contacted us shortly, about a couple of days ago, that they have another vacancy on their trustee board. So they are having another special election for another trustee seat on December 16th, and I'm just calling the board to see if you would like to participate. It would be a Wednesday. You would have to come in and vote. And,
Thank you, but no thank you on my part.
no. So you do need a consensus, and you
We need a consensus. I'm saying no.
No, we're not voting.
You're not
I'm not going to participate.
in the Eastern Suffolk BOCES trustee board. No? 2? 3?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving over to policy. Lee and Nick.
It's just a second reading. You want to
Second reading?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, motion to accept?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Under abolishment?
Yes.
Okay, we have two items under abolishment. Incidental teaching, conditional appointment, emergency conditional appointment of staff members subject to such appointment. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving over to public participation. Step to the podium, address the board president only. You may address one or more topics in the time allotted. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. For safety, please exit the podium after your time has concluded via the front of the podium and circle to the left or to the right to return to your seat. Nobody? Going once, going twice?
Go.
Nice try, Frank. I just want to say that it was really nice tonight to see all these reports going on and how you guys all work together with the administration and the Board of Ed. I just want to say thank you for that. I also want to say thank you that you guys all work together again and we got freshman awareness on. Very happy about that. And that's it. Just wanted to say thank you guys. It was a pleasant meeting so far. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, it's beautiful, thank you. Anybody else? Any takers? Going once, going twice? All right, great. Okay, now we're moving over to personnel. Recommended action, personnel members, Schedule 1. Nothing in Schedule 1. And there is items. Motion? Motion?
Motion.
Second? All, please seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Moving over to appointments, 10-year salary changes. Motion?
Motion.
Second? I'll second,
I have a
all in
question.
favor?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
We got a motion.
You can't use a person's name. Use your Rhode Island number.
I just have a question. The recommendations, obviously, I'm assuming, just probably know this already, but just more confirmation.
You're looking at Schedule 2.
Yeah. I'm looking at Schedule 2. Are, that process is in conjunction with the principal and the superintendent, I'm assuming on most of those?
Oh, absolutely.
That's all.
Okay, all in favor, all in favor? Aye? Yes?
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure it out. I tried to figure it out. Same person was appointed to one position, and now he's going to replace another person in another position.
Do you have a letter?
For A and B.
A and B? Bob, would you like to address that?
Yes. Initially, the person was replacing an individual that we moved, and he subsequently applied for a permanent position and received that.
So we're doing both at the same time.
No, we'll move to the other.
So he's doing a temporary,
Correct.
and
Then we'll
we're
move to
approving
permanent.
that.
Right.
And after he finishes the temporary, he's going
Go
over to.
permanent. You got it.
Okay,
And H is replacing that person as a temporary.
I saw that part.
I also asked a question on one of them, just a clarification on some of the wording that it says in here. It says,
Which letter?
B. It says expiration date on or before June 30th. What exactly does that mean, on or before?
What we usually do is to give us the latitude with someone who is not permanently appointed, that if we decide that they will not finish the term out, we have that ability. In general, they will finish the term. So it gives you some discretion.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye? Okay, we're moving over to financial. Over to the audit report.
There is no word.
Yeah, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's fine, moving on. Anybody have any questions regarding items 2 through 6? Let's make a motion individual.
No, you don't have to.
No, that's what, yeah.
I have a question about,
A motion, and then we'll have a discussion.
Motion.
Second? Okay.
my question is, again, I'm just like, and it's not a specific question, I just want to know if you thought of, again, a way of looking at and making sure that all this overtime we're paying is a need compared to a comparison of hiring an additional person. So I don't know if you have a plan in place to do that, or I just think it's something we should be looking at. You know, so the cost analysis, you know, whether or not the overtime we're paying out warrants hiring a certain person in a certain area, or the overtime without the benefits of hiring another person because it's costing the person plus benefits warrants some of that overtime that we're.
I think I know the answer, but Sharon can answer.
I don't know if there is an answer, we may not have done it yet, I'm just saying, I know we
I
discussed it
just think it's a
one
majority of
before,
this because of, you know, going back
Just don't
into
we have a
school,
plan?
that we racked up so many overtime hours, getting the buildings ready.
That's true. And in some of the departments, these are just anomalies, like the payroll working on the retroactive salary increases. So that's not something you want to hire for, but
Right,
it's
exactly.
just, you know, one-time thing. But hate to put you on the spot, John,
That's okay.
but do you think that's something that,
One of the largest expenses that could be attributed to the July 1st to September 24th period was the smart board installation project. We had our maintenance staff do that instead of going out and hiring electricians, which probably would have cost us several $100s per board just to run the electric. The gentlemen were able to do it completely in-house. But because of all the other obligations that take place throughout the course of the summer, a lot of it was done during overtime. Another one of the functions that they performed over the summer was the repairs to the tennis courts. There was a substantial amount of time, I believe it was 270 hours, man-hours, that went into repairing the tennis courts as well. So that was a sizable amount. I would say those are the two that I can speak of, easiest. I'd have to go back and review it for further information.
Thank you, John.
I'm looking at the spreadsheet that has buildings and grounds overtime report, and there's basically 4 categories listed. I'm just curious. Maintenance, obviously I understand, custodial, grounds. What is the program? What falls under that?
Program?
Because the title says program, 108 hours, 112 hours, 108 hours, 54 hours.
that's school-hosted events like concerts,
It's
plays?
Saturday events.
So, okay.
Yeah, Saturday's a big one.
Yeah, I'm just curious what fell in that section.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we're moving over to the consent agenda. I need a motion for items 2 through 11, 2 through 12, and then we'll have discussion. May I need a motion first? Motion?
Motion.
I'll second. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Did we get any feedback on the, I noticed the John Bell 5th grade trip was back. I don't think we had feedback. Did we
Yes,
talk about that? Did we find, talk about that last time?
I spoke to the building principal, John Crow. This is a first-time trip for them, something that they wanted to try. They're looking as a pre-6th grade activity for their 5th grade students. I did speak with the building principal at OBMS as well because they are going. Both schools, this is the last time they'll be going. OBMS is going as well.
Right, for the last time? How come?
Because they had designs to choose something else to do for the 6th grade.
So they're not going to go next year?
No.
For sure. So the 5th graders going this year would be their only
To enrich
opportunity because
the curriculum
for the next time they will not be going.
Yes.
Well, I'm
And it's
hoping,
the first time OBMS is going.
okay,
That is the first time.
That's the report I received.
I'm hoping OBMS will find something to replace it next year. So.
They will. They have plans.
What did they do before? Did they have another 6th grade trip before?
They did. Each of the grade levels do take a trip, a large group trip. I don't know for sure what the trip was last year.
This is the first time they're going
To medieval times.
to medieval times. The OBMS.
Yes.
When are they going? They're going later in the year, or they already went? It was approved last time, I know. I just don't
In
know what the date
November, I
was.
think. I think it's coming this month.
So they've already made a decision to not go back after they haven't gone yet?
But
They
they're-
rotate
they're-
trips every year.
Yeah,
They
they're
change
looking at
their
other
spot
trips
every
at
year.
this point anyway, so that they, because of the fact that John Pearl went this year, they are not going to.
So they're basing it on the fact that John Pearl's gonna go, they will not take those students.
Correct.
But are John Pearl's not the only school that feeds into?
No, Idle Hour and Boston and Sycamore
So you're limiting those kids from not going just because
was one group did.
that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, it's not, they're not doing it just because John
Well,
Pearl.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that makes no sense. And you're limiting those other kids from gaining this experience. You're also making a decision based on an experience that you haven't even gone on yet, which doesn't make any sense to me. And I only say this because I've gone on that trip for 16 straight years, and it's a fabulous trip for 6th graders. So how you make that decision that we're going to choose something else already, based on the fact you haven't gone yet, unless you, I mean, usually when you put something into place, you want to see how it is, you want to see, maybe, I understand maybe you want to bring it back in a couple of years as a rotation type of thing, but to me, that logic just doesn't make any sense.
The only question I asked them is whether they were going next year, and their response was no. I don't know if it is in a rotation. I will get that information.
Well, based on that fact, I don't want to deprive the 5th grade kids from John Pearl going, but maybe we should encourage the other district, the other buildings that are in 5th grade this year that feed into that school, let them know they're not gonna have that opportunity next year. If some of your teachers wanna organize that, we would be more than willing to approve those kids to go.
They didn't always, but
Because
the middle school didn't always go.
no, I'm not saying they're always going, I'm just saying I understand this is the first time they're going.
Right.
My point is that now you've got a group of 5th graders who are gonna be in 6th grade next year,
You just
whatever.
want to be consistent all around.
Whatever group of 6th graders next year can say.
And you love it and enjoy it.
Every year, and they change it every couple of years, they make a difference, and you're not seeing the same. Now, obviously, that's for the teachers and the staff, because the kids are different kids, so they're not gonna see the same show. But for us, they change it up, they've added a much more educational piece to it, there's an entire educational segment, that before it was just basically all the jousting and the fighting and this and the other thing, but they've added the educational piece to go along with the curriculum alignment.
We're improving the high school trip there too, by the way.
I saw that, which, that's a whole nother discussion.
I'm not opposed to children going on trips, so
No, I'm not either.
I'm
What I'm saying is I'd like to at least inform the other elementary schools that feed into OBMS that the one did go on it, even though they're offering it this year at OBMS, they're not their intention to offer it next year. So if those elementary schools want to try to go on it, they should have that opportunity. That's my point.
Don't forget, these children.
Not thinking that, a lot of kids have other kids they know. So they think, oh, the 6th graders went on the trip this year. Great, I'm going to get to go next year. And then they're going to get there next year in 6th grade, and they're going to go, no, you're not going on that trip. That's all I'm saying.
So
Open it up, and they say no.
Obviously, we see these trips because they're out of state. Can you give us an idea of the in-house states, in-state trips that these children do go on? That they have the opportunity?
Yeah, so I will give you, I just need a little bit of time.
I say yes, let them go.
Okay, I don't have an issue
But I'd
with
like to
that.
offer it to the other schools to make them aware of the situation.
You just want to be consistent.
Yeah, that's all. I want to give the other schools, if the teacher wants to step up, or the 5th grade and the other schools want to step up and make it part of theirs, make them aware that John Crow's going, and maybe they can pass along the information, and if they want to go too, we can approve that as well. That's all.
So then maybe look at something like
Dean will
this.
send the email right now.
Right? No.
So in other words, you're looking for a 6th grade across the board.
No, I'm not looking for a 6th grade, but what it sounds to me like is, listen, I'm totally, let's just move on, but I'm totally, it sounds to me almost like they're making the decision about next year without having gone, based on the fact that the 5th graders that are coming in, some of them have gone and they don't want to go twice, and that, to me, is the.
I wouldn't know a child doesn't want to go twice, so I don't think that's a
Parents may not
problem.
want to pay twice, I mean, it is a cost, it is an expense. Whatever, let's move on.
Okay, all in favor? I think I did a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving over to Board of Education committees. There's nothing on
You just
the
voted
consent.
for it. That was the trips and stuff.
Yeah, we just voted. I'm Speedy Gonzalez. Moving on to Board of Education committees. Has anybody been on a committee?
Yes.
Would you like to speak about it?
Yes, we're on the steering committee. And what was the other committee that was for the graduation?
Graduate profile.
Which I got the survey today sent to the house. And I actually did it with my son. And there's one question, he said, what's the reason for that question? I forgot which one it was, but I'll point it out to you. But he did the survey.
I'm gonna erase all those answers then.
What?
So he's gonna have to do it again.
Right. We're slowly going moving forward. Greg, you shared it with me,
I shared what?
the meeting.
Yeah, that meeting was, I went to a couple of meetings, the steering committee meeting, I went to the health committee meeting, that was very informative, and also the alternative learning committee. I tell you the truth, the first time I've been involved in any of these committees and these meetings, and I thought they were great, all of them. Health and safety, that was a great one, just all the caretakers involved and discussing what's going on to make Connetquot a better place. That was very interesting. The steering committee with the graduate profile, the ideas that were coming up were very good. Just to reach out to our students that graduated and to get feedback from them on how to better prepare current students to be ready for the workforce or college after they graduate.
What do you think of the alternative learning?
It was very interesting. It was a great program. Connetquot runs, what's going on right now at the high school.
Through BOCES.
Probably, a lot of people don't know about that. But it was very interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
We look forward to you putting a presentation together soon.
Yeah.
I'll turn your head. Actually, oh, that's right, I forgot, Monica, you're on that committee as well.
Yes.
So now you have the team together of the minds.
Yeah, but it's just nice to see, again, just sitting in these committees, people from the public coming out and getting involved. It would be nice to see more people
I agree.
come out and get involved, but it was nice to see the people that were there to get, ideas and just to communicate. How can we make Connetquot better?
Yeah, let's go to comments to transition to move forward. So, it's nice to get the stakeholders
I
involved.
think if we go back into the elementary schools once a month, our board meeting like it used to be, parents would get to know us, their children perform, which I personally enjoyed, other people might not, but I personally enjoy it. And, we get to go to different buildings and see who's on their PTAs. And I think that's very important in order to get people to come back in and join us.
That used to be done?
Oh, yeah, for years. It was wonderful. I liked it. It's a nuisance. You have to go from building to building, but when you're there, you're with the parents, you're with the PTA, you're with the children, because they do performance and they show up their schools. And I think, from what the principal said the other day, come to our schools because they never see us. And this is a good opportunity for them to see us and be able to share what they're doing in their school. And I think it will bring more people out. I really do. I've been asking if we stop doing it because there was bad negotiations and kids were a little intimidated. So that's when we stopped doing it. We kept the board meeting here. Afterwards, we never went back into the building.
So this one you can investigate, I'm open to it.
Sure.
We'll discuss it.
Yeah, definitely open to that. Nick, have you attended any committees?
No, I had a conflict for that task force.
Okay. All right, moving on to Ms. Adams. Yeah, I did go to the task force meeting. Why am I drawing a blank? I remember.
I'll talk about it.
I remember the tone of learning. That's the reason.
That's okay. It's been a busy few weeks. I have to say, I had a typo today on the email that I sent out to the community, because yesterday our Lady T-Birds volleyball team actually beat very handily, although the second game was giving me a little bit of a nerve-wracking agita, Smithtown High School West for a berth in the county championships, which will be happening on Thursday, unfortunately, against the badminton tournament that's being put out there. But Brentwood campus of Suffolk Community College at 8 p.m. Our Lady T-Bird volleyball team will be competing to try to maintain the county championships against Ward Melville High School. It was a very exciting game. We are also at the high school having a financial aid seminar. If you're interested, on November 16th, we have some guest speakers coming to speak at the high school talking about financial aid, the FAFSA piece of applying for financial aid, and it'll be a great night for our high school parents who are getting ready for their kids to go to college.
You know, I know parents watched that last year. They were so grateful that they went so away with so much information.
Wonderful. It's something that is an eye-opener. The task force committee is currently looking to schedule a meeting with the National School Climate Center in order to talk about creating a survey that would be a 360-degree survey of our students, our parents, and our faculty, just to see what kind of things our high school is doing well as far as connectedness and people feeling like they belong, and really to kind of take the temperature of why we had some of those problems that we had last year, especially the fight that occurred, and just to try to get some ideas as to what kind of positive behavioral intervention supports that we can put in place. We did look at and put in a very, very vibrant club called the Anti-Bullying Club. They're doing a great job. but we wanted to see, as that committee wanted to come together and see if there's a potential for us to, 6 through 12, really beef up the social emotional literacy of our students. So it's something that they'll be coming to the board soon to talk about the idea of putting that together and having a national center help us put that together. We did put together, excuse me, the graduate profile committee and the steering committee have come together for a little while to look at the literacies that they've put in place for our students to be able to be better moving out into the community as far as being part of the workforce or going to the military or going to college. And we put together about a 30-question survey that we took questions from different places that we thought were appropriate. We looked at Naviance, which is our student system to look into what kind of colleges they might be interested in going to. It's something that we use in the district already. And I just finalized that and sent it to the steering committee and the graduate profile committee because I'd like them to see if all the links work. So I'm going multiple times, take it 14, 15 times with different permutations, different classes, different things that you did after, just to make sure that all the links work, and then we'll come back together and look at that survey. I'll bring it here for the board before we send it out to our graduates. We'd like to do that at least for the last 5 years of graduates, and we should have emails for all their parents still in e-school, and we're hoping to get that out there right about the time that our kids come home for intersession break. On November 19th and 20th, our Lady T-Bird swimmers have done an amazing job in the counties. In fact, Michelle Wooten will be swimming in both the 50 and 100 freestyle events at the States.
Nice.
Just to interrupt you for a second, this girl, Michelle Wooten, that she's #1 in the county.
Yep.
Suffolk County, county champion in those 2 events.
That's right.
She's also representing in the 2 relays also. Sorry, I just want to, go ahead.
She's only one relay.
I think Craig just stole your thunder over there.
Well, it's not because her mom, she's not. We are going to be in 2 different relays, a 200-yard freestyle and a 400-yard freestyle relay. Emma Kopp, Victoria Catazone, Leah Russell, and Natasha Rice will swim the 200-yard freestyle. They took first place in Suffolk County, well under the qualifying time. And Cameron Krusher, Emma Kopp, Natasha Rice, and Michelle Wooten will be swimming in the 400 freestyle relay. Cameron Krusher is actually part of our team after we merged. The board voted last year to merge with East Islip. So East Islip swimmers are swimming with us, and Cameron Krusher is a nice addition to the team from East Islip. So we will be swimming in 4 separate events. Michelle will be swimming in 3 of the 4, so she's a powerhouse. That will be in Ithaca College on November 19th. We also have our varsity football team is in the semifinals this weekend at Lindenhurst at 6 p.m. I think that
Friday's game.
The #1 seed. Friday's game, I didn't get to see because I was in graduate class, but I know that Craig will, so I won't steal his thunder. I'll let him talk about it.
Take this one, Craig.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I want to talk about it, but anyway, attending a Friday night game here in Connetquot. I played at Connetquot many years ago.
Oh, boy.
But going to Friday night games is really, really spectacular. I'm so happy with the lights and the field, and it's very nice to go and then see all the people that attend the game. This last Friday they went against Ward Melville, and Connetquot had a huge lead in the first half. Ward Melville came back in the second half. Ward Melville got a lead in the 4th quarter, and it was a great game. Connetquot pulled it out at the end, and they were able to win.
Blocked the field goal.
They're moving on. They blocked the field goal.
They blocked the field goal to win the game.
It was my first Friday night game. It was great. It was exciting. Although when I got there it was 28-7, and when I left they were only leading by like 3. So I was like, maybe it's me. But thank God they won and pulled it out at the end, because I was starting to get nervous that it might have been me showing up that was causing all the.
What time did that game end? Because I remember I kept
It was
checking
late.
on Facebook.
It was late.
Yeah, because it started at 7. Yeah, it was late. Yeah, I think like 11. So it's just nice to see the teachers that attend the games, all the students, administrators. It's great.
It was a fun atmosphere. It was definitely exciting.
The marching band.
So this
Yes, the marching band is
Very, very
awesome.
exciting.
Yes, they're awesome. My suggestion, I shouldn't even, I'm not even gonna say it.
Say it.
I would like to see that in the future, in the near future, you know how they do in college where the marching band and the cheerleaders, they work together to get the crowd
nice.
more involved. and it's getting the marching band more involved during the game.
Nice.
So hopefully in the near future, we can have that occur. But we would need new stands, so.
So we won't have to have the screaming parents in the right, left-hand corner, we could actually have the cheerleaders doing that?
I would like to get the stands.
So this
Oh, boy.
this
That's a
week we
conversation
have,
for another time.
we need to go to Brentwood campus of Suffolk Community College at 8 o'clock on Thursday. It's $6 admission because it's the counties. We need to go there and support our girls, and then on Friday we need to go to Lindenhurst to support our boys. So it's wonderful.
Well, that's another thing,
Swimming
just
is
to,
upstate Ithaca College.
just to piggyback on Linda, that volleyball game, I'll tell you, those girls, they are so impressive, so intimidating. They're awesome the way they work together. It's really incredible.
The football game is definitely at the height, at Lindenhurst High School?
Yes.
I heard that the turf field at the school.
It's in Monument.
What's that?
It's Monument.
Which is,
Same campus.
so it's also the same campus, so the high school is.
Okay,
No,
gonna,
it's just-
moving on. Freshman awareness is ready to go. It's Friday, November 20th and to Saturday, November 21st. I also want to say that don't come to see me on November 20th because at Central Office, we will all be in our pajamas in support of the CFAC pajama. Do not laugh at me, Mr. Kennedy, over there. I see you laughing. We will all be in our pajamas, including Dean and Bob.
I thought we just had to pajamas.
No, you have to wear them. So,
See, you're gonna wear the fanny pajama, you know, the one with the button in the back? That's what they're called?
so on November 20th, on Friday, November 20th, our central office will be working together with the CFAC organization. They collect pajamas across the district in many different buildings, and we wanted to get into the spirit, so bringing in a new pair of pajamas. We also, CFAC also has reached out to Scholastic Books, and for every brand new pair of pajamas, Scholastic Books will put a bedtime story with that. So we need pajamas from 0 months all the way up through adults, and they are brought to all different homeless shelters around Long Island.
Awesome.
So that will be going on across the district, but our day that we're going to be wearing our pajamas, even Dean, will be Friday, November 20th. Yes, Ms.
And the
Kennedy?
pajamas get dropped off here?
They can. There's a bin right out
I'll
there.
be dropping them off on the 20th.
Perfect.
Only if Dean wears pink bunny pajamas, Phoebe pajamas.
And I'm
So will we have the opportunity to see the teachers in pajamas?
Teachers do do pajamas in the different buildings.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Well, actually, all faculty do. In a second, I'm going to ask John to talk to us a little bit about timelines in the library, the auditorium, and Cherokee fencing, because we've had a couple of different things going on. But I also wanted to say that Mylan and I had an opportunity today to go to Idle Hour and represent the board and district office at their Veterans Day celebration. And if you've never been to the Idle Hour celebration, they bring members of the family who are veterans, and they...
Are you going to start crying again?
No, I'm not going to start crying, although it is...
You cried through the whole thing, you know that, right? Or most of it.
I know, I'm sorry. Last year, they made us look at the pictures of all the people who couldn't be there because they passed away in the service, and I was a puddle on the ground because both my grandfathers served, and as well as my father. So it was very difficult. Thankfully, I still have my father, but it's so touching to watch these little kids come up to their grandparents, their great grandparents, and some of their parents, and just thank them for their service. And it's a beautiful ceremony. There's also a great ceremony that goes on in RMS, and I think it was just so nice. No, I meant to ask you to ask that, but I gave you that information. It was also wonderful to be invited to Bosti's flag raising ceremony, and that was something I never knew what they were doing. But the flag raising ceremony actually is in response to keeping the kids in an anti-bullying situation. So they actually raise a flag that they're going to stay bully-free and in their building. And what was wonderful is that's the building that we have the pilot going on right now for the 7 Habits. And the kids actually changed the lyrics to a song and sang about how the 7 Habits could keep them strong in the building and how Basti rocks over these 7 Habits. So we're going to bring them in. I'm hoping to bring them in for the December meeting. And I think that's all I have, except for John. If you could just give us a little bit of information about
where we are at the high school, as far as the library and the auditorium?
Sure.
Come on down, John, let's all see that pretty face.
Oh, my God. So we have two big projects that are taking place at the high school right now. The first is the auditorium that was started a few weeks ago. We took the opportunity when we were doing the high school renovations, or remediation, I should say, to address the stage. We refinished the stage completely when the opportunity presented itself. We've steam cleaned all the carpets. Actually, I apologize. We steam cleaned all the walls and all the upholstered seats. All the carpeting is being replaced. We're putting tile floor back in the pit so that it'll be easier to maintain and clean moving forward as well. The sound room, the projection room, those were also cleaned top to bottom, inside out. A lot of the stuff that was in there that was old, porous, attractants for all different types of things have been removed and purged. So we're getting ourselves a clean slate in the auditorium. The floor is being installed as we speak. They were there, I was there this afternoon around 5:30. They were in the process of installing the carpeting. My expectations are they're going to be done with the carpeting and the tile by tomorrow. At that point, we'll be able to scrub the tile, get rid of the factory finish, seal it, wax it, and return it to the staff and students hopefully on Monday. So that will be a nice thing to get out of the way, because it's been a long process. As far as the library, 2 weeks ago, we learned that we had a humidity issue in there as well that has caused some problems. There's also some water staining that occurred around the circulation desk. So we removed the sheetrock to examine everything beneath to make sure that there weren't any kind of hidden problems. That would be something that needed to be further addressed. Thankfully, we didn't find anything. Everything we did discover was all surface moisture. So as a way of remediating everything was wiped down completely, and then they came back with the biocide. To take it a step further, all of the soffits, all the painted surfaces that are of sheetrock and everything else are all being painted with a sealer, a primer, and then they're going to be painted with a finish coat as well. So we addressed the ceiling leaks, we addressed the ventilation system, and then we're working our way down through the entire room, making sure everything's clean for the students and staff. Starting with the soffit, working our way down the walls, and then working our way into the books, which is obviously a large part of the problem. Every single book in the entire library was wiped down by hand. So there were some books that were found to have traces of mold. We're not sure if it was recent mold or old mold, whatever it might be. We're working with the librarian at this point to decide whether or not they can be cleaned, working with the remediation company and the environmental experts to make that determination. If there's anything that needs to be removed, they will be removed. Thankfully, the ones that we've identified are very few in nature. There's some of the older reference books that have a cloth binding on them. So that's all taking place as well. Tomorrow we have a company coming in. They're going to address the coils in the ventilation system. They're going to steam clean the coils, and they're going to clean out all the ductwork as well, all the way through to the registers and the returns, so that we're sure that anything coming into the library is free and clear of any kind of dust, contaminants, or anything else that might be in there. And then on Friday, they're going to steam clean the carpeting. Although the carpeting is in very, very bad shape, it's what we have. We're going to clean it to the best of our ability, and that space should also be opened up for student use starting on Monday as well. So both of those projects I'm hopefully going to be able to release back to the high school starting this weekend. The other issue that you talked about was Duffield. Duffield, we had an incident that took place over the weekend where Cherokee, where somebody must have clipped the fence near the large playground. It pulled down quite a large section of the fence. So first thing Monday morning, we went up, we secured the fence, we put a temporary snow fence in there just to make sure that any children that are out there for recess or any other times have some sort of barrier between the parking lot and the playground. We weren't able to get anybody out there as of yet, but on Friday we have a contractor who's going to come in and give us a quote and get those repairs done, hopefully within the next several days thereafter.
Do we have any security cameras over there? Were we able to find out who did that?
We looked. It doesn't see that area.
Damn it. All right.
I have a question. Do we know the source of the moisture problems? I mean, I know we're cleaning the vents and preventing.
Which space? Because we had moisture issues in both spaces.
Out in the library?
In the library, we had-
Do we know the source of them? I mean, we're cleaning everything, and we're trying to, have we identified the source so we can not have these problems again?
Sure, two separate issues. The first one, which was found near the circulation desk, was from a ceiling or roof drain. We went up on the roof, we actually found a little crack in the rubber membrane next to one of the drains. The water comes down the drain, travels along the outside of the pipe, and then it proceeds to drip along the sheetrock where the circulation desk is. So that's where the water stains were. There's also an elevated level of humidity throughout the space, and that's because the air conditioning systems were not working properly. So because of that, there's a general moisture level in the space that caused the problems with the soffit and caused all the issues that we're seeing on the soffit and probably with the books as well. Well, and that has been addressed as well.
We were able to remedy both those situations?
Yes, we fixed that right away. Okay?
The air conditioning expansion problem.
Correct, and now it's shut down, so now it's just a question of ventilation, but yes.
I'm not sure who can answer this question, but I also have a question regarding the Cherokee issue. Or maybe it's just an all buildings issue. Why was the gate open to allow people into the school from having There was a gate at the entrance. That gate was obviously open. They drove into the parking lot, made a left, and drove through the fence by the playground. It didn't happen at the gate. So did they bust the gate, or was the gate open? And why is the gate open? I know the other gate was always locked when I go, but the gate on the left side of Cherokee, not on Cherokee Street, but on Cherokee Street, not on Ontario, is open a lot. So I don't know if that's an issue for Don or if that's an issue for, is it ever locked? That I don't know. I'm not there all the time, so that's the
Apparently
question.
someone has an answer back there.
Okay.
St. Joseph's rents the fields.
Say that again?
St. Joseph's rents those fields.
Right.
So they need access to get in and out. I don't think they can be locked.
Oh, but after dark, they shouldn't be on the field, so why is our security not locking the fence? That's my question.
In certain instances with that, what we have found is we have welded the chain and the locks to the actual gates. And what we're finding is many places where we welded them, someone has come through and cut the padlocks off. So we're in the process right now of accessing and looking at each one of our gate systems in the district and making sure that we have the ability to padlock each one of those gates. There'll also be signs on them that say what we're supposed to be doing security-wise is at night, the security is supposed to lock down all the gates that can be locked down in the district, and then on their first round in the morning, when the sun is coming up, they're supposed to unlock all those gates. However, there were some areas where people literally cut off the padlock and no one had let us know that they were missing. So we're in the process right now of welding new chain, new padlocks on, and that practice will go back into place.
So I guess my question then, I understand what you're saying, and that's all good. My question is, I guess then more specifically, when this incident happened, did anybody look at the gate and see if that was the case, or if it just wasn't locked? Because if it wasn't locked, somebody didn't do their job.
Right.
And that I have a problem with.
Yep.
Okay, because someone cost us a lot of money because someone didn't do their job.
Yep.
And that's a problem. If the padlock is gone, that's a whole other story. We need to get on that and fix it. But if somebody didn't do their job and it cost us money because the person was allowed in that gate, or maybe the person drove through the gate. I don't know. Maybe I don't think the gate was destroyed. But that's really my question. It's not that we obviously have concerns all over the place. Things happen. We got to fix them. I get all that.
Yep.
This incident, someone look at the gate and see what happened. Is the padlock there? Did someone cut it? Is it missing? Or did somebody not do their job?
I will find that out for you.
And to that point, the maintenance guys went around this morning. They identified 4 different locations in the district that we should have had chains and padlocks on, and they've all been replaced as of this morning.
I mean, I don't know.
No, they were up in Cherokee because they did not, when they went around and they did their assessment, they did not find a chain or lock up there. So they went out and they got a new chain and a new lock. For Cherokee, for Slocum, one of the gates at Slocum, I'm not sure which one. The double gate on the back side of the student parking lot at the high school that goes around the north road, that was open, and also there's a gate between the tennis courts that lead underneath the bleachers that was open as well. So those 4 locations were all resolved.
So it was one of the locations that was the problem, so it wasn't that somebody.
That was one of the.
Now, here's my next question, because I asked this, but how long has it been like that, that somebody hasn't been locking the gate because it's been missing? And that's a problem. And that can't happen.
Yeah.
If it's missing one night, it needs to be addressed to whoever the supervisor is, and that needs to be brought to someone's attention, needs to be fixed. So I don't know how long it's been like that, but I would doubt it was just that night that the clock was missing and the. That's what I'm saying, it might not have been locked for 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or a month, or how long. 10 years. Sorry. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you. I just wanted to let the public know that as part of the consent agenda, the board has approved security guards being put in place at the elementary schools, starting as soon as possible, and also 6 assistant coaches for the following girls' teams: softball, basketball, soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, and volleyball. So those were moved as part of the consent agenda a few minutes ago.
Thank you, Linda. We actually had the opportunity to hear you speak a lot today, Dean, so I don't have to, poke you tonight.
We got 45 things, so I have another 2 hours.
No.
No problem, got no school tomorrow.
Would you like to add anything in addition to your presentation?
We just have a couple of highlights that I'd just like to talk about and updates regarding some of our technology integration projects. John Halloran, one of our science research teacher, and 3 of our Connetquot High School students will be presenting their DNA barcoding project at the Long Island STEM Education Leadership Association on the 17th. Rick Patel, Matt Orgalis, and Dan Nelson.
Woohoo! That's my boy.
Stephanie Burns, one of our science teachers, the weekend of the 31st and November 2nd, presented Astro BioBound, a project that was developed during her NASA experience this past summer to the Science Teachers Association of New York State. She will also be presenting the project to the Long Island STEM Education Leadership Association on the 17th. In addition, on November 7th, she presented Totality 2017, using the 2017 total solar eclipse to integrate all content areas into the science curriculum. And that was done at the National Science Teachers Association meeting in Philadelphia. Jessica Conrad, another one of our science teachers, presented at the Science Teachers Association of New York State on engaging learners in the outdoors. So we're pretty excited about their department and their work that they're doing.
That's all good stuff, Dean. All good stuff.
At the end of last year, we were able to use some grant money to purchase roughly about 100 Chromebooks. We're in the process right now of creating a Google environment for our district. We own a Google domain. We're in the process of enhancing that at this point. And we'll be rolling those out to some pilot classrooms in the high school for teachers to be able to use those Chromebooks with their students and to have access to Google Classroom, which will allow them to collaborate, create online notebooks, collaborative projects, class notes, all those different matters that they'll be able to access in their classrooms firsthand. We completed our technology walkthroughs. Mr. Allen mentioned it earlier about the installation this past summer of 47 interactive whiteboards. So we're creating classroom packages where our goal eventually is that every classroom will have the same technology within it so that teachers have a common experience and so do students across the district. Our goal ultimately is to create a flat environment where we can start creating and sharing information and best practices across the district. We're using smart software as our platform for that. We finished our technology walkthroughs, myself, Pat Davis, and John Allen. We went through all the classrooms that are going to be getting the interactive packages. We met with each of the staff in those classrooms to discuss the best placement for them, the best use for them, and we're going to be rolling that project out mid-year. It's about 130 interactive whiteboard packages across the district. And along with that, we have a lot of technology integration, professional development going on. We have 3 of our secondary teachers who we've worked with over this past school year to develop a capacity to support our teachers in hands-on ways. We're looking at a blended model of professional development for them that's more embedded. We're also allocating some of our model schools money to have an on-site technology staff developer work with our teachers. She's available 3 days a week, and she's already been in a lot of our buildings either providing resources for teachers, co-teaching, modeling lessons, what you feel that this embedded kind of blended professional development doesn't take teachers out of classrooms, but actually gives them the real stuff that they need at the time that they need it. We're working with our elementary principals. They have a leadership in technology integration workshop. We have 2 of them scheduled for November and 1 for December. So we have someone that's going to come in and work with our principals to continue the process, because they need to be the leaders in the buildings. They need to be modeling technology. They need to be making sure that the technology is being integrated. In the area of STEM, over the past month of October, our Connetquot 4th graders have experienced a STEM activity that we brought into the district. It's 2 90-minute workshops, and it's called Let's Get Rolling. Students learn about recycling and work as green engineers as they create and test race cars using recycled materials while exploring physics, math, through ramps, pathways, and objects at will. It's a very fascinating, great activity. Our teachers have been completely involved in it. That's the first one. The second one we're rolling out in the second half of the school year, and we'll update you as that goes on. Within the next couple of weeks, our district-wide literacy team will be meeting. That team is made up of our building principals, district administrators, as well as classroom teacher representatives from each of the buildings. And we'll be discussing where we are with regards to literacy instruction, building a common language, building capacity, reviewing the resources that we have been piloting and working with, and seeing if there's any additional needs that we have as we move forward. So we're pretty excited about those things that are happening. That's pretty quick.
I'm excited, that's all good stuff.
I'm excited.
Thanks, Gene.
In a year and a half, and I say this and I thank you, the past year and a half, more has been done educationally than, say, 7 years previous. And I thank you for that. It's a lot of work. But I know what went on before, and I see what's going on now.
Thank you, appreciate it.
There's your clap, Dean. Do you feel better?
It's like a golf clap, yeah.
Anybody else has, any administrators have anything else to share?
We've had some staff development in the area of special education in the last 2 months. Read 180 System 44, we've had a complete upgrade, as well as the first phase of training in the month of October, and we will have additional training coming up in late November, early December. We've also had staff development from BOCES come in to the high school and work with their middle school and high school teachers on writing transition plans in our IEPs. For our new teacher meeting this month, we had our behavior consultant come in and work with our new teachers on classroom environment and setting up a positive behavior system for their classroom. And then additionally, we've had some administrative meetings where we've been talking about positive behavior supports for the school.
Thank you, Monica, that's all good stuff too.
And then we have one other thing going on that I'd like to just mention, and that's SEPTA has a fundraiser coming up in November. It's on November 28th. It's a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And it's a movie that all the benefits will go to SEPTA. It's The Good Dinosaur, and the showing is $12. It's admission, popcorn, and a drink. And then also we have our Models fundraiser that will be shared shortly, I think tonight, and then again Black Friday or right before that.
What?
The Models fundraiser
27th to December 24th.
is the end of November, right around Thanksgiving also it
Yes,
starts?
Black Friday it starts, runs through Christmas Eve, and it's good at any Models.
Movies at Sable?
It is. Saturday morning, November 28th.
Thank you, Monica. Anyone else?
Any other?
Okay, moving over to the Board of Education.
I have something I have to say. I hate ruining this perfect evening.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not going to get yelled at for it, but people here know, I know it's not, people here know, or some people know, that I've been an anti-bully advocate for many years. I hate seeing children bullied, I hate seeing anyone bullied, because it's a scar that lasts forever. What had happened here recently, let me talk about CPAC. It's a foundation that started 15 years ago. I was part of that, proud of what they do. It is our principal in one building that's been heading me up for the past X amount of years. You heard about the pajama thing. There are 23 teachers right now that put in for grants 23 teachers. I call it the silent majority. They don't say anything, they just do for their kids. And then I asked someone who's reading the grants, what were some of the grants? Just off the top of his head, he said, recess area upgrade, buddy bench, vegetable garden, leaders in new books, culinary supplies. These are what teachers are asking for grants that CFAC has the money to give them. This year, and I'm sorry to say this, I don't want, this is not an argument, this is my feeling about bullying, and if I don't say it, then I'm remiss, because we were taught, everyone in this district, because I win, we can't stop a bully, but we can speak out, and maybe everyone will stop a bully. CFAC had invited Tom Croce to be a speaker. CFAC was threatened that if they did that, there would be no teachers attending, that they would be picketing in front of the building. So that would be the demise of CFAC in 1 year, a foundation that cares about kids and works for kids. And why? You know, I heard this, this is not hearsay. I heard it, from some people that had to tell Tom Croce, you can no longer attend. He's a senator. He voted no on a budget. He voted yes on a budget that had the APPR in it. That budget consisted of millions of dollars of many other things besides the APPR. To do something like that, to threaten someone like that is wrong. And I publicly say it's wrong. I was furious, now I'm just upset about it because it's wrong. And to say you're donating $2,500, you've donated a table before. To say you're going to model, you're saying thank you for doing something that they shouldn't have done. But they had no choice because they cared about kids. And you threatened. And that's wrong. That's wrong. None of us created the problem with the APPR, with the 50%. NYSET created it. NYSET argued. I told these men, that's how I feel. NYSET argued. It's 20%. NYSET did it. They sat there and negotiated with Como. They did it. Yes, they did. You even admitted it.
You don't have to do it.
It makes no difference. I don't think that they did it. What happened here is wrong. Bullying is wrong at any level, especially at the top level. And to walk around smiling and you got your way and watching down an aisle is real nice.
Thank you, Lee.
It's wrong.
It's going to be the best CFAC you're ever going to see, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
It's going to be the best CFAC you ever see.
Wrong.
There'll be more money than you ever saw before.
Right, but that's blood money.
That's blood money. If you don't get your way.
No, you didn't get your way.
All right, that's it.
Let's just leave it at
Our
that.
opinions are out there. It's Lee's opinion.
Yes, we did.
Well, we still have to finish board education. I think we should say thank you for
Oh, absolutely, yes.
the Suffolk Transportation Unit
Absolutely,
for
thank you to
supplying
Suffolk
these beautiful
Transportation
pens.
Unit for
Yeah, thank you.
another board recognition. Nicest pen I've ever had. And to Miss Sandy Rubin for our candy, representing
And I think a special thank you should go out to our veterans. What was our lives that are
yes,
fighting?
always. Tomorrow, Veterans Day, thank you.
Yes, thank the veterans tomorrow, absolutely.
Current soldier, thank somebody.
Absolutely. And we should teach our children what the meaning of veteran is. Because I don't think most children actually know what that meaning is,
I'm sure they do in the classroom.
Yeah, but it's nice to reinforce it at home because, I think we should definitely reinforce it at home. And show an appreciation. Our children should show appreciation to that. Okay, so, same rules apply. We have our second public participation. Oh, are we done?
Wasn't me.
All right, Lee, did you missed me. Oh, you want to go first?
You're good.
I'm going to be really quick. With the Cherokee thing, I know Duffield also has a problem, and I'm sure other middle schools have, the other schools have a problem too. We get a lot of riffraff, for lack of a better term, that hang out in those parking lots. I know years ago I talked to the groundskeepers, and they said every morning before the elementary school kids went out in Duffield, the grounds crew went out and made sure that they picked up any needles or any bottles or any condoms that were laying around in there. So, yeah, so can we get cameras that point there? Maybe if the kids know, or adults, I don't even know who's hanging out there, know that there's cameras in those areas at the playgrounds. Maybe we wouldn't have destroyed fences, we wouldn't have used condoms somewhere.
That would be good. Can I just, because I heard something about this.
So we're gonna need some more cameras.
Having cameras and that, you know, that you could see everywhere in the school district, and, you know, around the school, that'd be excellent. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Right.
But at Duffield, the kids are going where the cameras can't see them. They actually know where the cameras can't see them.
So how do we fix something like, will these security guards that we hired, will they be able to maybe patrol at off hours? Or no?
Well, they do patrol at night, but they can't be in every elementary school.
Those elementary schools are hard for them.
It's just a shame that we had that whole fence knocked down.
I agree with you. Linda, I don't know if you know the answer to this question. I live a block and a half from Boston.
Wait,
Now, when you have,
I'm
no,
sorry.
so yeah, you know, I'm just addressing your concerns as well. What is the job of those roving security cops? What is their job? Because sometimes, and I don't want to rat anybody out, but sometimes I see them hanging out at Boston. You see the car. There's really not too much going on there. So are they supposed to spend like say 10 minutes at each facility? I mean, what is their?
They do sweep. So they are on schedule to sweep. I think Bosti's probably somewhat problematic because of the fields that back up. So I think they want to spend some time there to make sure that that doesn't happen. I know they spend some time at Duffield because that's also a problematic space. But they do have a roving schedule. I mean, we could talk about beefing up and having more than one car. Everything comes at an expense.
Yeah, no, I know that, but if we don't want the playgrounds destroyed like Turkey, that was a shame that the fence got.
Yes, agreed. And part of that was that we didn't have the gates closed.
Right.
So we'll make sure that those
Well,
gates are
Duffield doesn't
closed.
even have gates.
And we talked about that. We had Don debrief on what happened this week with the administrative cabinet, and you know, he said maybe it's time to fence off Duffield, which would be a pretty big expense. It's something that we would have to talk about as a board if it's something that this community wants to have happen. You know,
But
maybe
you're
a
not
lot
gonna
of
stop
gates.
what.
No, what I'm saying, the kids will
Not gonna
just
stop
jump
the
the fence
walking,
and
yeah,
they'll.
it's not gonna stop the walking in and out.
Walking through
I
there.
mean, what happened the other day at Cherokee was preventative, the gate was locked
Right,
and the car
right.
couldn't go in.
But in that same vein,
Kids
you
are
still
gonna
get
walk in
people
and out.
hanging out
Right.
in there and
You're not gonna
drug
stop
needles.
that. You're not gonna stop.
Right, I know, but if we could
Unfortunately.
minimize it, that'd be.
Yeah, obviously, to the best of our ability, it's hard to stop.
I know. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
It is. I just don't study it. I would like to say thank you, and I think I'm going to say thank you on behalf of the kids that don't even know to say thank you. And I think that's what we're all about. And I appreciate the process or the thorough was behind closed doors, agree to disagree, and I think that anytime we're in these kind of forums, whatever the topic may be, there should be a respect about different opinions and our goal is about creating an environment that's conducive to all children. Not about me, not about you, not about, they are our number one priority. All that we do should be in that vein. So having said that, I'd like to thank you on the decision that was made to position coaches to improve the quality of life, not just in the learning abilities of their athletic experience, but we do know that coaches do impact students in varied ways, not just in the actual technical component. I would like to thank the board members that did attend the volleyball match. Your schedules are crazy. I lived that in a different environment. It's tough. And you don't have to be an athletics enthusiast to support kids. You could be like you did when you brought all those folks in that showed the diversity of excellence in academics and choir, or whatever the case may be. But they noticed. One of the feedback they said was how nice it was that the superintendent came again, and that the two girls very calmly said, and she came over and said hello to us. Like, it was just very, like, observant, you know. And it's nice to be able to talk about the parents who have a lot of griping to do, to say, hey, board members are here. They work here, you know, so that voice is being heard. Again, we're not going to all get everything for every organization, but it's being noticed. And we know that you guys have tough decisions to make. A couple of quick other acknowledgements. They said the same thing about the principal at OBMS. How great it was that she still comes to the games, even though she no longer has kids that are in the program. So they are noticing people, I think you guys talked about this, there is a different air, there's a memory of what goes on over the last 10 or 15 years on the board, and it views energy on the board. The changes is happening, and it's really positive. And as you're in it, please recognize that people are talking about the efforts that are being made by the leadership, by the shared governance structure. Methods of inquiry. I just have a couple quick things to say. The methods of inquiry thing, for not only for our students now to achieve the data that you provide, which is very educational, it's also being on the other end, it talks about college readiness to learn. And those things about methods of inquiry are as valuable as much as the performance rate by which they score their academic achievement. So yes, while they're here to achieve admission into institutions, but the next level of education is talking about the readiness to learn, not only achieve academic performance in high school, but to learn in that next phase. The best news I heard was the one model that they talked about, we're not settling. And that's the message I think we all have to continue to sell. We're not a perfect district, but mediocrity should not be okay. Like, you guys are bringing that energy to challenge stuff, everything. That's good stuff. And it's sometimes painful to hear things that we don't like. It's not about us. It's about us getting it right for those guys. So kudos there as well. The football game is at the middle school on Friday in Lindenhurst, and there's only one seating, so tell people to get there early. It's pretty tight quarters. I would like to just get on the radar. I don't know how many of you have been reading about the University of Missouri, about the diversity issues that are being faced. And we believe very strongly where I work that if it can happen in one community, it can happen in all our communities. So I just say we should keep that on our radar as we continue to educate about acceptance of differences of opinions. It should be all of us. And keeping that in our forefront as we talk about the racial sensitivity and the diversity sensitivity, that is all of our responsibility. But at the end of the night, it's late. I'm going for wings. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you very much.
And if you can make it, the girls will make you proud. They're playing an All-American tomorrow. So it's going to be a tough Thursday. It's going to be a tough day, but hopefully we'll see you Friday night too.
That's great. Thank you very much. Well, on that positive note, I'm sorry, darling, I'm sorry.
Sorry. As a student at Connetquot High School, I just wanted to know why we weren't really informed about the mold problem in the auditorium. Like, you'd hear, I'm really involved in the music department, so you'd hear from the music teachers, they'd be like, oh yeah, there's mold in the auditorium, and they get kind of annoyed about it, so you get the annoyed feeling like, great, now we have to wait months for it to get done. But we never heard from the principal or someone else who would be like, oh, we have this problem, but we're going to get it fixed. And I'm just wondering why we never get that reassurance as to all the different problems that we're facing. And in the library, there's rumors that go around, oh, there's mold in the library, there's this in the library, there's this in the auditorium. Are we going to have a musical? Who knows? But everyone's just getting so heated about it that I wanted to know why we don't really get clear answers about it.
So you're saying that the principal had no contact with the students to let them know that these two areas were going to be unavailable for a little while?
We knew that they were going to be unavailable, but it wasn't they didn't say, oh, we'll have this amount of time until it's done. They told music teachers who told us, but there's kids in the other departments who want to know what's going on. And we can't really say much because there's so many rumors going around, this is happening, that is happening. There's no one who really told us what's going down and what's said.
So you would like to see some more
clarification of what's
clarification through the principal, maybe over the loudspeaker, or through the class teachers.
Some of that had to do with the unknown of the time frame.
There was no way, yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear from a student that comes
No,
here.
I'm not saying she's wrong in wanting more clarity. I'm just trying to offer her a possibility of why the information may not have been disseminated, because obviously we're waiting, there's a process involved where we have to bring in companies to evaluate what's going on, to get that information back, then find out how long it's going to take for the process to remediate.
I think what she's looking for is maybe every 2 or 3 days, just a little bit of an update, okay? This is where we're at, hopefully we'll have this over. I know what you're looking for, just every couple of days, just a little update.
Yeah, just it's going to be a month or however long it's going to take. We don't need an exact amount of days, but we just wanted to know just approximately how long it's going to take, because the school drama was canceled. Everyone was terrified the new school was going to be canceled, so it was just big.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that the drama just got delayed.
We don't know what's going on.
What I've heard so far is that they're moving that into the spring. we did offer other spaces for the drama to take place while the auditorium was being remediated. We sent out an email district-wide to every parent and every teacher district-wide that gave the information about the fact that we needed to remediate and actually gave the environmental reports. At that point, we really didn't have the timeline, what it was going to look like, but I absolutely hear what you're saying, and something on the loudspeaker that says we're looking at the next, the next week, we can absolutely do that.
Yeah, because we never really got that.
You never
It was just
got
like,
that.
from the musical, just they were like, oh, I'm so annoyed, we have to do this, we have to like move our schedule around so much just to make it.
I know, it's, yeah, definitely,
Maybe an
thank you for
update
coming.
on the high school website.
Yeah, but you know what, the kids are not gonna visit the
Yeah,
website.
that's to go find it. There's no reason why they
You would look there,
I
wouldn't you?
would, because I'm so like interested in what's going on, like,
And
they
just
had
sort out
the,
what's rumor and what's not, if you
Yeah.
could leave it there.
like, they had the update on the library, but there was never anything on the auditorium, which is like kind of my big thing. Like, the library is very important, obviously, but the auditorium is so vital to like the band, the choir, everything else.
Well, we could also make an announcement to check the website for proper information, because sometimes the information, just like we had put the information on the website, was not something you could easily send in an email or over a phone message. So putting it out there that the
Yeah, but you
information
can't
is
expect these
available.
children to read the reports. You want to be a
I'm
little
not,
more.
I'm saying just post something on the website that gives them an update, keeps them updated. So, and make one announcement, if you have information you'd like updated information, it's available on the high school website so that they can go and check. That, I'm saying is make the announcement as a, here's the information, here's where it is, but sometimes the details are hard to give over the loudspeaker, you know.
Well, even just like John
But it's
explained,
a
it
great-
gave a little bit
it's a
of,
great,
you know, like John just explained before, carpet was done, we're doing this. I think that's what the kids really want to hear. They're mature enough to hear
That
that.
can be put easily in
Yeah.
an update
Yeah.
and tell them where to find
Does
it.
the high
Thank you.
school have that running thing in the cafeteria like OBMS had, where it just tells you stuff that's going on?
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
they could run it across there, and
Well, I don't
everybody,
think-
just about everybody uses the lunchroom, maybe you could.
I'm not in the lunch, I don't have a lunch, but I am in
Okay,
there
you're not.
sometimes for different activities, but they do say like, it's more of like awareness phone numbers that go across it. It's, they never really say anything that's like, this is going on in the school, that's going on in the
Right.
school. It's more just like suicide awareness, alcohol prevention, stuff like that, which is obviously extremely important, but it's never like school updates.
You're a very mature lady. What
Yeah, what grade
I'm
are
in
you?
10th grade.
Whoa, that's impressive.
Very impressive.
Very nice.
Definitely.
Thank you for coming down and speaking. There's adults that can't do what you did.
Can I go again? I have one more quick thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to talk to what Lee said about moving the meetings to other schools, and Lee and I are going to differ on this. I know that it wasn't to other schools, we have like 24 people that show up to the meeting, less than 24 that are here right now, and going to all different areas and not knowing where the meeting is, and people wind up coming late because, oh, it's at this building, but instead of that building, nobody knows where it is. They
You
did.
know, I just have a remedy for you, remind me. So if anybody who does go to the Board of Ed meetings, you sign up to remind me, and then.
You know, what, I understand
Well,
what
let
you're
me just
saying.
finish,
Go
can I
ahead.
just finish? So they had it all here in the central location. Now, as far as visiting the PTAs or having their kids come here, you guys have done a great job bringing them here. And then what happens? They all leave right after that. So now we're sitting in their building, none of them are there, but you're missing part of the people who didn't want to go all the way over to Ronkonkoma, or didn't want to go all the way over to Idlewild. So for me, and I know Ed will agree with me, for me, having it here was a better idea. You always know where it is, it's always here. If there's overflow, you know it's right in that building, and we still get to see the kids. If you guys want to see the PTAs, get the PTAs to know you, go to the meetings. Frank was there last night, Mylene was there last night. I know you go to Cherokee PTA meetings, not anymore?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Flip-flop certain responsibilities. I have a lot more other responsibilities right now.
So
My wife
go to
is
their
attending
meetings,
those
go to their
meetings.
PTA meetings on their nights, and you'll get to see a lot more than coming to your meetings. That's just my opinion, just wanted to put it out there. And I know we don't agree, Lee, but I
That's
had to say
okay.
that.
That's
Okay.
what
Thank you, Eileen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, are we calling it a night?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Thank you everyone for coming out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Motion for the Board of Ed to move into exec session in accordance with the open meetings. Open meetings law, section 105F, employment history of employment persons, recess, and then we will.